Hey Sainers, welcome back to the Saints TV YouTube channel. Welcome to the round 8 match review. Coming to you live from the famous car park. We got the job done by 61 points. Yes, you heard me right. We've beaten Fremantle by 61 points. 94 to 33. And I'll tell you what, it was going to look a lot better. They kicked a late goal through Narkle. It was almost Cooper Sharman versus Fremantle for the majority of the second half. He almost had outscored them 4 goals too, up until that last goal. But what a response. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We've been shit. We've been absolutely shit the last 3 weeks. We've been also hit pretty hard in the media, namely our coach, Ross Lyon, and his tactics and the way his methods and, you know, him subbing Garcia and giving him a stern talking to and this and that. But that was just it wasn't a pretty game, like, at least not the first half. The first half, I think it was 27-7 at half time. We were by far the better team, but it wasn't really evident on the scoreboard. But the method was there, because I can't tell you a single moment where Freo got it out of the middle and looked clean, and I cannot tell you a moment where they marked it inside our attack and rebounded cleanly. Every time we pushed them wide, every time they had to switch it multiple times because they had no avenue. There was no kick in the middle. Their height, we combated that so brilliantly through an outstanding performance from Callum Wilkie. 24 disposals, 14 marks. I mean, he's on Josh Tracy, who's one of the most informed forwards in the competition. And I think he kept him goalless for memory. I don't think he kicked a goal. Remind me in the comments. But an outstanding performance from every single St Kilda player. Hugo Garcia was huge. Him and Winhager and Jack Steele, massive credit. Brayshaw and Sarong, where the hell were they? Where the hell were they? They were missing. They were missing. It was incredible. I think at one point Naz had 19 disposals and Sarong and Brayshaw had 16 or 17 combined. That's when I was like, things are going nicely. And the barometer in the first 10 to 15 minutes, maybe the first half even, Mitch Owens. Absolutely brilliant first half. Physical, flying for everything, marking everything. Incredibly competitive in any situation that he was put in, whether he was in favour of winning it or not. He broke even. And then in the third quarter, it was Cooper Sharman's quarter. And he took his moments. He could have had more. He missed a couple that normally I would say he would kick. But he missed. But he kicked, I think, his 4. If he had to kick 5 or more, I was going to go early and announce that was his career best game. I don't quite think it was, but it was almost one of his most prominent games, because he was such a vocal point for us, because of, you know, our lack of firepower in the front half. He only kicked 1. We kicked 94 points. Our best goal kicker for the year and a player that's almost leading the Coleman kicks 1, and we kicked 94 points for the game. That is a huge tick. Huge tick. A lot of players bobbed up. Jack Steele, much maligned the last couple of weeks. He's copped it. 22, I think, disposals, 11 tackles or something like that, and a goal. And any midfield that does what we did to the Fremantle midfield, I think we're plus 20 clearances and inside 50s pretty much for the game. Any game that we win clearances, I said it in the preview, we've won the game. We win the clearances tonight by a lot. What does the scoreboard reflect? A domination. It all starts and ends in the midfield. And the midfield, Garcia, Winhager, Jack McRae, 38 disposals. Back to his best. I think he got 160 in Supercoach. If you're Kane Corns, that's that, and that means it's a good game, Kane, because it's reflected of his stats. 38 disposals. Brad Hill was awesome. Liam Stocker threw his weight around. The back line was excellent. Jimmy Webster was great. Caminiti battled, and the debutant, Hugh Boxall, great debut. That's exactly what I think a lot of us was expecting. It was nothing that was like, oh my God, wow, but geez, he's tough. Tackles, doesn't get beaten in the contest. He's mature in, like, his approach to the game, and it's his first game. So he's carried exactly what he carried in that pracky game against Carlton that really made us all take notice of him, and he's implemented into, you know, round 8 under the roof against a seasoned team like Fremantle with a star-studded midfield. Shai Bolton was missing. All their smalls that are so dangerous. Murphy Reed, again, just, I can't tell you that's I would say that's our best four-quarter performance. Best four-quarter performance, because Geelong, it wasn't a four-quarter performance. Richmond wasn't. Port wasn't. This was every single quarter. We made it so tough for Fremantle. There was no space. I think our pressure rating, the average for the game was 208, which is absolutely elite. And if you're doing that across 4 quarters like we did, which a lot of people think is not sustainable, we proved them wrong. We did it. It broke Fremantle. They had nothing. They had nothing. And the only downside was at halftime I was thinking, fuck, we've dominated this game. It's only 27-7 or whatever it was. So you're like, is 20 points really reflective of how comfortable we've been? No. Is 61 at the end of the day? Absolutely. Fully maximised our dominance in the second half. And if we hadn't have done that, it would have been disappointing. But that's exactly the type of win that gives you hope, that starts you wondering, what the hell was the last 3 weeks? And what went on in the last week to get that sort of performance against that sort of opposition? I thought we were a chance because I didn't think that Fremantle travelled well, but it wasn't just that. I said before the game to Jaden, Fremantle have got the better list, we've got the better coach. I still don't trust their coach. And I think Ross coached the shit out of this game. Because as much as you can have just intensity, you need to have structure, communication, and a game plan to combat their strengths. And their strengths are midfield and rebound. And anytime Alex Pearce or Luke Ryan took a mark, they had nowhere to go. It was just such a complete competitive performance that we have seen in glimpses and wondered, where has it been for the last month? Well, there it is. They took it out of the locker, put on the football field, and that's what you get. Man of the match is going to be tough. I mean, a lot of people are going to pick Wilkie. A lot of people are going to pick Sharman, McRae. You know, some just selfless performances in there. Windy, Garcia, and Steele had to do a job tonight. They had to. And they did. And we reaped the rewards with a big win. So I think that's the confidence booster we all needed going into Spud's game on Friday night against the Blues. I think if we can bring that intensity and that sort of, you know, that hunt and that hunger for scoreboard pressure and kicking goals. Some of the goals tonight. Mitch Owens' a snap in that last quarter. Sharman on the boundary getting tackled, kicks it. Higo handballs to Collard, dribbles it through. Some scintillating goals tonight. And that's that fast, electric St Kilda football that we've seen in glimpses. But to see it for 4 quarters tonight, that was a treat. And we all needed it. 4-4, season's not done. And Blues next week. It's going to be fun. So on that note, Saners, can't wait to dissect this during the week. Friday night football, we didn't choke on prime time like I was really worried about, because it's happened a number of times. And to beat Fremantle by, not just beat them, to absolutely hammer them by 61 points is a nice way to start the weekend. So on that note, take care, Saners. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and as always, go you mighty Saners. Awesome win.